Hi folks, today we're going to make a really simple crystal and glass pearl necklace. I've already made some changes to the way I had originally designed it, but let's turn down and we'll look at it, and then I will let you know what we're going to do. And I hope you enjoy this one. Okay, this is what I have been working on putting down here. My original plan when I was figuring this out was to put this big huge glass bead right here in the center, and that's really pretty. But I had these really cool pieces. They are actually for two stranded things, but I'm just going to use them for one. And I'm going to put this baby right here in the middle. I think that looks really cool. So then I don't want this to be a really long necklace. We'll probably just continue putting small ones up the back until I get to where I want it to be, because I want this to be about 17 inches, but I'm going to put an extender chain on the end for those folks who want it to be a little bit longer. So let's get out some wire and some spacer beads, because you know me, I have to have spacer beads. And we'll get started stringing this baby. So I have gotten out a lobster claw. This is a swivel lobster claw. Extender chain. We won't need those till we're at the very end, so we'll put those aside. And then I got some extreme sterling silver SoftFlex in medium. There's not much left on this spool, but I'm hoping it's enough. We only need about 20 inches. So, oh, actually, it's way more than enough, I think. Let's find out. Here's 12. Definitely more than we need. So we're going to cut it right here at about 20 inches. And then we can set our wire aside because we won't need it anymore. What I am going to need is a bead stopper. I advise always using a bead stopper, because otherwise you're going to lose your beads. So let's start right here on this end where actually, you know what? Let's start in the middle. I do like to start in the middle. So because this has 4 holes, we're just going to go through the first one. Well, both of them. And then we'll put the big, this is a really big pearl, by the way. This is about let's see, how big is this pearl? I think it's probably like a 14 maybe. Oh, it's a 16, which would make this second size a 14 probably. Yes. So we have now I notice I already have a problem with using this. See how this is flopping like that? And also the pearl wants to go underneath. So I'm not sure we're going to be able to do this. Which is a pity, because I really liked that. Let's put the other side on and see what happens. Oop, don't miss your pearls all up here. So that's just going to fall down further, I think. Though we could put something small underneath the edge of the crystal piece so that it butts up against those pieces there and holds us back up. So I see, because we want it about there. So I'm going to see what I can do with that. Just a second. A couple of little round, well, now I have one on the floor. And we'll see if that will go under and hold the pearl where we want it to be. Yeah, see, I think that will work much better, because now the pearl is butted right up there. And even though you can see that a little bit, you can't see it a great deal. So I think that will work. So let's go find our missing piece, and we will get it in place and we'll go on with this. Here we go. She was right underneath my feet, which is good because then I didn't have to search too much. So we'll put that little ball on. And then our pearl back on. And we'll see how it is with both pieces together. There she is. That's much better, don't you think? So now we'll put our bead stopper back on this side again, and we'll go on with putting our beads in. So I'm going to put in that one. Then we'll have this other, this crystal spacer, this other pearl here, and this other spacer, and this crystal. Now we're going to change sizes of as you can see, we've been changing sizes of pearls and crystals. They've been dropping down in size. Now we're also going to drop down in size with our spacers. Now you'll notice I'm going pearl, pearl, crystal, and I like the way that's looking. And as I said, we're dropping down in size as far as our pearls and crystals are concerned, so that we have the large ones in the front, and then by the time we get to the back, it's just going to be these little ones that you see here. So now let's put our bead stopper on the other side and get the other side done, or put on with what we have here. I suspect we'll need to put some more, which will probably just be the little ones then, and some smaller crystals as well. Well, not if I lose things. Now this one bead, you'll see I'm having a little trouble going through. It's because these coatings on here sometimes clog the hole. And if that happens and you're in the side and you just can't get your bead to go on your wire, turn it over to the other side, because sometimes you can, if one side is not clogged all the way, whereas the other side is, you can just sort of force it through, so to speak. Isn't that turning out pretty? I like that a lot. Okay, so let's see how long we've got it now. 9 inches. We need at least another, I want to make it at least 17, so we need another 8 inches. So we're probably just going to keep on with this pattern here with the little and with the same pattern, but with a little pearl and crystal. And I do have this many pearls, so I think we're good for that. And if not, we got some really tiny ones here we can use as well. So let's, in fact, I may actually switch to those in a bit, but right now we're going to get some more crystals out and some more spacers, and we're going to get some more stuff going on. Right now we're going to stay with this smaller size of pearl here, and I've got some more crystals, so we'll do a couple more patterns with the crystal and this small pearl. And then dependent on where we are, we may wish to switch to the tiny for the remaining amount. Now see, this one doesn't want to go through here because, oh, I got it to go. But both sides of this coating was a little stiff here. Upon occasion, you may find that you have to use your awl to knock that extra little bit of paint out of there. Now this would make a beautiful necklace for a wedding, if that's what you wish to use it for, or for something formal. So let's get the other side in and see how much length we managed to add here. Okay, let's see how much length we added. I think from the looks of my thread, we're still going to need at least a couple of inches here. And now we've got 12. So as I say, we need that added 3 inches. But we're going to need at least another 5. So we can either go with these still, which we do have enough to do so, or we can switch to the really tiny. I think we'll do at least one more pattern with this size, maybe 2, and then switch to the little ones, depending on where we are at that point. Gotten out 4 more of the little crystals, and we'll do 2 of these, 4 more pearls on this side and 2 more crystals, and the same for the other. And then again we will measure, and if we still need more at that point, we're going to switch to the smallest pearls. So I think that is where we wanted to measure from. Yeah. And so we will get the ruler out again, and we'll see how long we have it now. It's 12 right here at the end of this one pearl. So it's 15 now. So we still need 2 inches. So I am going to switch to the tiny stuff now, so I'll get that out. And I'm also going to switch my spacers. Since we are using much tinier pearls and crystals, we're going to switch to a smaller spacer as well as the smaller crystals and such. So we'll get the tiny crystals out. We'll start with just 6 and see where that leaves us at. Now, as you can see, I've got more wire on one side than the other, so I'm going to pull these up so they're more even. I like a even wire as opposed to, come on baby, go all the way over there. And now I've got too much over there. So about right there. Okay. So now we are going to put on one of these tiny crystals. Tinier beads are always harder for me to work with because they get underneath my fingernails. It's actually probably about time to cut the fingernails so that I have more control over my beads. Let's compare the sides now, see if they're about the same length, and they are, so hopefully I didn't make any errors in there. And now let's get our ruler out and measure. Okay, it's 10 right here where we end this bead right here. Ooh. That makes it almost 19. So yes, we're taking some beads off because we only want 17. So we'll take off this last rotation right here for sure. And down the other side as well, of course. Put our bead stopper back on, and we will make sure what size we are now to see if we need to take off just a little more still. So we are now 12 at the end of this bead, and that makes it just a little bit over 17. And with the lobster claw on here, I think we're going to take off the next rotation as well. Maybe not all the way down, maybe just to the crystal. Let's see where we sit there. Okay, now let's remeasure. Okay, now we are at 12 right here, and not quite to 15, and that's good because that will make, that's the 17, and we do, like I say, have to put on our lobster claw and stuff, which will make it a little bit longer. So I'm thinking, because the lobster claw is a good ½ inch long, we are going to take off the crystal as well. And now we're going to be at that point where we want to start putting on our extender chain and our lobster claw. So we'll get this other stuff put away and get working on that. I have got my lobster claw out. We're going to test that, make sure it works right. It's working great. This is the extender chain. The lobster claw go on one side, the extender chain on the other. I've got a couple of jump rings and a couple of crimp tubes. Now you can do this one of two ways. You can crimp directly to the SoftFlex here with your pieces, or you can crimp them to the jump ring, and then the jump ring can crimp to the other pieces. This is your choice. A lot of times I'll crimp directly to the SoftFlex because I'm not planning on taking off my my clasps. But if, for instance, your lobster claw the spring should break, it's better if you have it off, so that if that should happen, you can you can switch your clasp. Come on, you, don't be difficult. Now, I was trying to see if I could get 2 wires through my spacer down there, but it appears they don't want to. And I'm not sure if 2 would go through the pearl anyway. Oh, it is going through. Good. But it looks like that's a hard no on the pearl. So we'll just pull this up. To where, however tight you want it to be to your jump ring. I want a little space, but not a whole bunch. So that looks good. The jump ring is moving around, so that's fine. Now I'm going to get out my Magical Crimpers, and I'm going to crimp this crimp. Now, these are the Magical Crimpers. They have a divot in here, and you put your crimp tube right in the center of that divot and then just squish down. And then you turn it and continue to squish as you turn until it won't squish anymore. And it makes this really fun little bead here at the end. Do a tug test. Now I'm going to cut this extra off right here since it didn't want to go in the pearl. Come on, baby. And then we can slide our beads down there onto that. Go to the other side and we're going to do the same. We're going to, as you can see, I did have few inches extra that I didn't really need, but I'd prefer having enough, having extra, than having not enough or having it be so tight that it's really hard to get in here. And yes, I've done that before. It's when you only have a little bit of wire left, it can be quite a challenge to get through your crimp tube and such. Now let's see if I can get this in this extra spacer. And it's not looking like it wants to go into this spacer, which sometimes is the case. These ones that have been antiqued have a coating on them, and then they rub it back off to give it the antique coloring. And sometimes the holes get plugged with that coating, just like with the pearls. So anyway, it's not going to go through. So what we're going to do is we're going to just take this and we want to pull it up tight to the spacer. Come on, let me have that. Make sure I have my beads all down so that I don't have a big huge gap somewhere. You see I did have a little bit of a gap. So I'll then push this down again and pull up. Now when you crimp, make sure your necklace, bracelet, whatever you're working on is in like a spiral like this, so that you don't have it so stiff when you crimp it, because otherwise it will have no movement, and well, we do want our stuff to have movement. Come on, you. Now we have jump ring wants to get in the way. Now you can do this without the jump ring in there and just put it in later, because if you're making a loop, it's gonna be able to be put there. Let's cut our extra wire off here. Okay, now we have our necklace with the jump rings up on this side. So now we will open those jump rings, put the lobster claw on one side, and put our extender chain on the other. So we'll just get out our pliers and open up our jump ring. We'll slide to the lobster claw on this side. I like to make sure that it's all the way closed, and that I'm positive it is. And now we'll do the same by opening this jump ring over on this side. And putting our extender chain in. Okay, and she is done. So we just hook our lobster claw up to the end here, and we have our necklace all finished. Shall we measure it and see how what we did with that? Now see, that's about 16 1/4 according to that. Of course, we have a 1/4 inch here on my thumb, or my finger, I should say. So if we were to open it up and go down from where we put this on, we're at 12 here, and 17 1/2. But that's all right. I think it's a good length. And there is our necklace all finished. Pearl and crystal. Isn't that pretty? I think it turned out nicely. I think that we're going to like that. And I'm quite pleased with it. I hope you are too. Okay, there we are with our necklace. Now it turned out different than I designed it, because like I say, I designed it with the big glass bead here in the middle rather than this pretty little spot here. Now we could do one other thing, and that is because it has these 2 extra prongs here on the back of this piece, we could put some dangles on here if we wanted to. But I don't think I want to. I think it's pretty just the way it is. Anyway, I hope you guys like that. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we'll see you later.